How's it going, everybody? Happy Tuesday, January 13th. Thanks for clicking on the video. I just kind of wanted to talk about, why I quit drinking today. At this point, I'm 30 years old. I didn't start really drinking until I was 22, and, I had met my, at the time, girlfriend who I would then marry. And then, really, from 22 up until 27, I just drank like probably up to 2 to 3 pints a day. I mean, I was lying to my wife about the time I would get off of work, and then I would go drink with my cousin and whatnot, which obviously is not a very positive thing to do at all. And I was just making like a ton of mistakes around that time. Like I was, if you ever known an alcoholic, then you know that they're liars, they're manipulators. And I mean, I was trying to be the best dad I could be because at the time I had a young daughter, and then also keep a full time job, which, as an alcoholic is extremely hard to do. I mean, you're constantly calling into work, constantly finding up an excuse as to why you don't feel good. And I mean, this went on really from like I said, the age of 22 up until 27. I mean, I would bounce around from job to job. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a firefighter and get my EMT, and I would eventually achieve that. But up until this point, I really could never see that for myself. I mean, it was just like a pipe dream because I don't like I said, I don't know if you've ever known an alcoholic or if you've been an alcoholic yourself, but I mean, quitting isn't just something that you want to do, or I mean, it's not something that like is easy to do. I mean, you it's not like you want to drink is what I'm trying to say. It's like you have to. It's like you don't have a choice. And I mean, since I've quit drinking, I've had a slip up or two. So I mean, you couldn't. I mean, I can't say that I've been completely sober for the past 3 years, but in the past 3 years, I've drank twice, which obviously isn't good. But I mean, those two occasions, I've kind of snapped out of it. Was able to quit drinking and get right back on track. My drinking got really worse whenever I was going through a divorce, which was I think around 25, because me and my wife were married for a couple years, and then we eventually went through a divorce then. And then from 25 to 27 was probably when my drinking was the worst. That's when I was drinking like 3 pints a day. And I mean, I was stuck in like what seemed like an impossible rut. I mean, anytime I tried to quit drinking, I would start shaking. I mean, I wasn't able to eat. It was terrible. I mean, it was like a sickness that I really wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. And then fast forward, now to 2026, I've got my EMT license. I've worked at this small fire department for the past 4 years now. And I mean, it's not exactly where I want to be, but, I can, I'm grateful for where I'm at and what I've been able to achieve. And I mean, really, as long as I'm sober and not drinking, that's truly all that matters. Whenever I was trying to quit drinking, I mean, I spent a ton of time just thinking that it wasn't really possible for me. Because, I mean, for a second, I truly felt like it really wasn't possible for me. And, I mean, I suppose in some ways you could say, like, for me personally, or, for me by myself, it wasn't possible. I had the day that I quit drinking, it was following a hospital stay, and I had went to the hospital following drinking an entire bottle of Everclear, and like this is how down bad I was. I mean, I was over at my brother's house, and I had stolen some liquor that he had because like him and his kids had went off to go do something. I honestly don't remember. And I was at his house, and typically around this time, anytime I was drinking or whatever, they would take my keys. Or take my phone or something like that. Excuse me, so I wouldn't get behind the wheel. And so on this occasion, I found a bottle of Everclear that he had, and I drank the entire bottle. And my brother had told me that when he came home, he found me passed out, basically unresponsive on the front porch. And they called the ambulance and they took me down to the local level 1 trauma center. And I was unresponsive with a GCS of 3. And for those of you that don't know, a GCS of 3 is just completely unresponsive. Now that I've got my EMT license, I now know that and even then, I had already been an EMT at this time. I mean, I continued to drink even after I had started my career, unfortunately. But, I went to the hospital completely unresponsive. They intubated me. And when I woke up, I was like in a panic. I don't know if anybody's ever been intubated, but they basically put a tube down your throat and you're unable to speak. I mean, whenever you try to speak, it just comes out as like an exhale. That's the easiest way I could describe it. And since I was like completely drunk, I was restrained to the gurney. So whenever I woke up, I was restrained and I couldn't speak, and it was the most jarring thing really that I had ever experienced. It was terrifying, and I mean that's not even really like that occasion. I was about to say that's not what made me quit, but that is what made me quit. But like I just don't think that I would have been able to do it on my own. I had a really good friend at the time that I dated in high school. She was, I guess, concerned for me. I don't know. I mean, I don't remember ever asking her to help me. She just kind of came along, and she just started to help. And I mean, I think without her, I don't think that I would have been able to sober up. Around this time, she took me into her house, and she basically let me live with her for like probably a month and a half, 2 months, and kind of basically let me sober up. And even in the beginning stages, it wasn't even. It was really. I was about to say it wasn't. It wasn't easy. I mean, it was still pretty hard for me. Even though I had a support system like that, but like, I had drank all the beers out of her refrigerator, which when someone's like taking you in like that, it's obviously not something you want to do. Um, and like I said, this was around 3 years ago. So this was right when this was the summer of 2023, which is whenever I quit. But this was when all of this was happening, and so I lived with her, and I eventually was able to pretty much quit drinking cold turkey. At the time I was working at this small fire station, and so fortunately I was able to still maintain my job. And I remember like once I was able to like kind of initially sober up, I went to work, and I pretty much just worked for like, I think it was like 34, 35 days straight. Being at the fire station, I was basically able to eat there, sleep there, use the restroom there, shower there. So, I mean, I was very fortunate in that aspect. And then, after the 35, 40 days, I mean, I still didn't like feel completely normal until after, at least a month and a half, 2 months. And I mean, I think it was probably around 6 months that I had started to lose a bunch of weight, which was fantastic. Obviously, I mean, everybody wants to lose weight, but I mean, I learned a lot, just from quitting drinking. I learned that a lot of things are just mind over matter. I mean, you can really do whatever you put your mind to. I mean, I've always wanted to make a YouTube channel. I mean, it's really always been a goal of mine. I mean, right now, I have a bunch of just like gameplay videos, and I don't really know which direction to take the channel. I'm trying to like learn how to edit, but at the same time, I don't want to like just make slop. I want to like whenever I get on the mic or whenever I'm like uploading something, I want to like be able to hang out and chill with whoever like decides to hang out and chill with me. Like for me, it's like I'm just hanging out in my bedroom with my cat and playing video games. I mean, these are days, that, maybe I don't have my daughter or something like that. Right now I'm kind of in between jobs. So I'm supposed to start, but that's just like a whole, that's obviously nobody's, that's my business. But, back to, leading up to me quitting drinking, um, it was tough. I mean, even like whenever me and my wife had first gone through our divorce, I was it was kind of like a roller coaster. Part of me wanted to quit drinking, but like another part of me didn't really care, and also couldn't. It was and this is going back to before 2023. This would have been like 2021, 2022. 2021 and 2022 were probably like the roughest years of my entire life. I mean, I was constantly behind on rent. I had a habit that I couldn't kick, and it was just it was extremely rough. And the ironic part of all of this is at that time, I was able to just keep up the facade of like working all the time. And that was obviously just really taxing on my body. I credit, just my age being the only reason that I was able to even get through that period of time. Um, you know, and so I'm just really grateful for everything that's happened, in the past, 5 years or so. Really, I mean, I can't believe it's even been that long. I mean, 2021 was, um, yeah, towards the end of 2021. I think it was May 2022 is really when everything went kind of downhill. At least, uh, in the sense of, looking back on it, it's really not that bad. I can remember in the moment it being terrible, and I feel like in life, a lot of times, whenever I feel like things are couldn't get possibly any worse, and like my anxiety is going crazy, in hindsight, those situations are just they're never really as bad as I make them out to be. They always say you're your own worst enemy, and I mean that's absolutely right. I mean, you are your own worst enemy. I mean, you sit here and beat yourself up. I know I do. Sorry, I shouldn't say you, but I, sit here and beat myself up over things that, you know, I just need to be patient on. I mean, like right now, I'm waiting to start this job, and I'm just in a hurry to do so, and I just need to just kind of be patient. I've been really lazy lately, just kind of hanging out at the house, just sitting on the computer, and I feel like I could be doing something better with my time, but I just being in between jobs, I don't want to spend any money, so I don't want to leave anywhere. I don't want to use any gas to go do anything. And I mean, it's kind of a bummer. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm really grateful for what I have now. My dad died. Um, I say like but my dad died in 2018. He was an alcoholic, and he left me his home. Although I didn't get it in 2018, it was on what's the word I'm looking for? It was on Section 8 for about 7 years before those that family moved out, and then last summer, I was able to move into the house, and it was pretty. It was pretty. I had to do a lot of cleaning whenever I got here. And that could just be me. I'm kind of a neat freak, so like every place that I move into, I feel like I'm gonna have to rearrange things and clean, to make it to my liking. But I'm fortunate in that aspect. I mean, I still have bills to pay here, obviously. But whenever I was getting sober, obviously working played a huge role in that. I think it's like incredibly difficult to get sober if you're not working. If you're really stagnant, like I have been for like almost the past month now, it's really easy to slip into or stay in addiction. I mean, thankfully, I'm pretty much just addicted to coffee and playing Tarkov. But I mean, I look, I kind of there's some days where I feel like I'm really wasting my time, and I'm like, geez, dude, I didn't do anything today except put 10 hours into this game. But then I kind of think back to all the days where I put 10 hours into getting drunk and like, maybe passing out somewhere or making some sort of mistake. I know these past two occasions that I had slipped up. One was this last October, so a couple months ago, and then again in July. So in the summer and in the fall is whenever I slipped up. And both occasions were when I was hanging out with a girl. Go figure. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm a stronger person than that. I was able to quit without going to rehab. I had my own form of rehab, which was, staying at my friend's house and going to work constantly. So I know if I could do that, then I can easily not give in whenever, I'm hanging out with a girl and, she's drinking. And like the entire time, I mean, it's just like, it's not like I'm drinking out of a place of depression. I mean, a lot of times, ironically, I would drink because I was having fun, and then I would I would then get depressed. So I would like pretty much create my own depression. And then, whenever I quit drinking, I would then get a ton of anxiety, therefore creating my own anxiety, which obviously sucked. I mean, the one thing that I learned from quitting drinking was just, oh no, I wouldn't even say the one thing I learned, but like, I feel like the most important thing I learned is that, you don't have to give in just because like you feel like you have to do something. Like, the two times that I've slipped up this past recently, like I said, which was in October and in July. Not that this year was even particularly hard for me. This year was actually a pretty good year for me, or not this year, but 2025. Um, but even on those occasions, in those moments when I felt like I was like, damn, dude, this is really fucking hard. Looking back, it's seriously like all in your head. And I mean, there's so many benefits from quitting drinking. I mean, my blood pressure went down. I lost weight. I was able to just do more things. I mean, I had more confidence in myself, probably because drinking lowers your testosterone. So, I mean, I was feeling depressed and unmotivated a lot of the times. So, after quitting drinking, I kind of got this like spurt of motivation. And I mean, it was pretty great. At the time, I was just like, I was working at the station. So, like, I was just going really hard at work. And I mean, right now, I'm just kind of like picking up shifts here and there. I was supposed to start at this hospital that pays a little bit more than, where I was, at the station. I don't want to say it like that because I really, really like that job. And I feel like it's negative saying that, and I don't want to be negative. But, you know, I loved working in EMS. It's probably like my favorite thing to do, and that was another huge reason why I quit drinking too. Was my chief at the fire station had told me, if I didn't quit drinking, then I was gonna lose my job, and to me that was like really what was most important was that I had to keep my job. I mean that was like what I had always wanted to do since I was a kid. I mean, my uncle was a firefighter, and so like for me, it was like I couldn't, even though like so many other things had happened. Like I had gone to jail, I had, missed out on time with my kids, because of drinking, and I'd lost my car, I had lost so many jobs, other jobs, because of drinking, but like this one job like meant so much to me that I didn't there was no way I wanted to give up the job, that is, because I mean I had worked so hard to get my EMT and even just to get to that volunteer station. It's not even really volunteer. I mean, because you still get paid to work on the ambulance and do firefighter work. So I mean, it's not even really volunteer. It's just small. But I had worked so hard to get to that point. And so, I knew that I had to quit drinking in order to not only maintain that career, but also just be a better dad. I mean, like quitting drinking has made me a better dad, and I mean, I think that's, probably the single most important thing is being a better dad, because I can't do anything else unless I can be a dad. And I think if you are a father, that rings true for anything. I mean, you can't do anything until you're a dad first. But anyway, I just wanted to record a video just kind of talking a little bit. I mean, I had initially started this YouTube channel with the goal of just talking. I mean, I wanted to get a mic and I wanted to just, use this as a form of therapy. I mean, I think there's something therapeutic about just putting this all together. I mean, the gameplay videos and stuff, that's always nice. But, if I had one thing to say to someone who's an addict, I mean, you can do it. If I did it, I mean, you can definitely do it. I think I had like 2 seizures, before I was able to like truly quit. So, which is like a huge deal. I mean, if you're having seizures, I mean, you're pretty down bad, in the addiction route. But anyway, like I said, I think anybody for tuning in, it truly means a lot. I'm trying to, make some videos here. This is, like I said, therapy for me. And, I appreciate everybody's time. And so, I hope you have a good rest of your day. See you in the next one.